everyone. Welcome to the Anchor of the Week. My name is Courtney.
And I'm Zach. We are an initiative of Hope and Anchor Community Church in London.
Each week we'll discuss different topics relevant to faith and Christianity in today's culture.
We are here to build a space for the church to share our experiences and challenge one another to grow in living a life like Jesus.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to
Welcome
the
back,
Anchor
Timo.
of the Week.
Welcome.
Yes, we are excited that you are here. We are excited because today is an exciting topic.
It is cheeky, yeah.
It is a little cheeky, a little spicy, a little cheeky. Yeah, today we are going to be diving a bit deeper. So as you guys have known, maybe if you've been listening to the past few episodes, we are going into basically what fuels society, what motivates society. And this week we're going to peel back just that extra layer. I even did the hand motion.
Yeah,
it's
did,
very
yeah.
visual. But we're going to see, we've been talking a lot about what fuels us as people functioning within a society. But what about the societies that we're born into? We are born into structures and societies and economic systems and political systems that already have a way of working and of being. That is just how life is. So today we're gonna dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So buckle up, baby, because it's gonna be a wild time. Hopefully a good and challenging time, though. Right?
Yeah, defo. Yeah. Because we've looked a lot about individuals, kind of what motivates us, but like you said, we're born into a society and a system already,
Yeah.
So I think today we're going to dive into a little bit about kind of making, like, are we stuck in a system, any systems, whether it's a big one or smaller social groups or whatever.
Yeah, we're going to see the whole range of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. How many times have I said excited so far?
A few times.
A few times, but that's because
yeah.
it is true. But to really dive into this topic.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get in. Basically, I guess, what kind of societies are we in right now? You know what I mean? Let's kind of go very overarching, maybe, and then kind of start unpacking.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, I think it's quite easy to associate, like, a massive society. I think it's important also that we realize, like, this isn't just, like, how your government's run, and you're born into this. If I'm born in England, how the England government's run in that sense, and it's controlled in that respect. But also your family and family cultures and traditions, and that goes on to grandparents and your parents' grandparents, and it's just an endless
it's
thing.
the on and on.
Just smaller social groups as well as the big ones.
As well as industries. What industries are you a part of as well? That's one thing that we were kind of kind of going over the topic a little bit and just kind of bouncing ideas off each other. We realized, like, okay, like, where you work, not even just the workplace, but the industry or the connections you have or the I think there's so many different, like, or subcultures. Talk a lot about subcultures,
And the biggest thing we found when we were discussing this is, like, it's very easy to find that you're just in this system and, like, you're not even aware of it, are you? You're just kind of stuck in it almost. Yeah. Oblivious almost. Just like you said with the industries, like how they do things, like we just take it as fact a little bit, and sometimes we're just, I guess, not really aware of, like, what's the bigger picture here, like whose motives am I following and doing. We're going to unpack that a little bit.
Exactly. And I think over the past couple of years as well, with the whole, I guess the momentum of social media and getting our news on social media, the whole fake news thing, and we could make a whole 10-week series on that, you know what I mean? But I think we're becoming a little bit more accustomed to understanding, like, oh, okay, like, maybe you can't take everything at surface value, right? Especially in social media where things can be more deceptive and all of this. But why don't we do that in our, like, the physical life, you know what I mean, as well? And I think it's not something to be afraid of or to be overly, like, obsessed with in that sense, maybe. And I think we can tend to go on two different extremes as humans, right? We've got you're ignorant to just kind of whatever's happening and whatever, just ride the flow of anything and just, it is what it is, c'est la vie, que sera, sera, like, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the other side of, like, almost paranoid, right?
Yeah,
and can't trust anyone or anything, and
trying to find that balance.
Exactly. We're not here to be conspiracy theorists. We're also not here to just conform to whatever the world is doing and just take it at face value, right?
But we, like, something, I'm seeing this from you a little bit, but like we want to be critical thinkers in that respect.
Yes.
So I know you've learned that a little bit earlier.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah.
Yes. And the difference between being critical and critical thinking, right? Being critical is like, oh, like, that's wrong. that's bad.
Negative.
Negative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of like where the buck stops, right?
Yeah.
But critical thinking is when you like, or at least for me, maybe it's not like necessarily a textbook, but this is how I differentiate.
Yeah.
I've heard this before and it really stuck with me. But critical thinking is like, I see a problem. Okay, what am I going to do to help solve it?
Yeah.
Like what can be done, you know? Because otherwise it's a blame game.
You're looking at a positive solution, aren't you?
Exactly. A negative thing with a positive solution. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
You also said something earlier. What were you saying? Oh, I just had it. Being born into like a system, you know, or we're all born into systems.
Yeah.
It's just, as I said, how the world works.
Yeah.
You know, but it's very easy then to blame the systems that we were.
Blame it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that goes into the whole critical thinking, you know. Well,
we need to take responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's not to say, like, obviously the system you're born in is corrupt or just, I say corrupt, like not good influence.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, I think taking responsibility is an important point. Yeah, because I'm very much more like, I don't like things influencing me, and I very much feel responsible for my actions as opposed to like blaming certain things that are happening, and that's why I'm doing things. So
yeah. And I just think it's interesting too that we're like diving into this portion of the topic, because we've talked a lot about like, again, like our personal things, you know, like what's motivating me, you know, like, am I taking it kind of like am I blaming it? Am I taking responsibility, you know? And it's just really cool to kind of see how we are all these pieces inside of this, like a bigger picture. Exactly. Yeah. I know it's kind of redundant because we already said that at the beginning, but I am hyped. As Zach would say, I'm buzzing.
Yes, come on. I'm glad we got that in there once.
I know.
Yeah. Something that we also, like, I think we want to, like, just ask a question for those listening is, like, just, I think, to critically think, like, just about the groups that you're a part of or the things that you follow or whatever, you know, what is, like, let's say I follow something on social media, for example, and, like, what are their motives in their posts, in their following, you know, are they, I think you'll often find they're very much trying to gain something, a profit, or, I don't know, it's not, like, actual care, is it?
Yeah.
So,
the idea is as well, like, if we as humans have motives, good motives and bad motives, like, you know, and I could say, okay, this is what motivated me to do this is what motivated me to do that, you know. Why do then we just assume that a lot of other things are unbiased, you know what I mean, or unmotivated, right? Because we all know that we all have a bias, right?
There's a reason why they created
of course,
this. There's a reason why they advertise or whatever, isn't there? So,
there's a reason that we're having this podcast is because we want people to think about this topic, you know? But yeah, what you're saying too, right? Like there's always something behind it.
It's good, yeah. So we kind of just like, it'd be nice for people to start thinking about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Just as you're listening, just, what am I part of, and like, not just why am I part of it, but like, what's the influence and what are their motives behind? And I think this can go for like even just friendship groups. Something as I say is small, like just like it's not like.
This would be a political system.
You know, so I think it can be something as small as that. Like, what are your friends' actual motives, or, I don't know. Just, it's good to ask questions like that. I feel like, don't associate those questions as a bad thing. You know,
because there could be really healthy motives as well, and really healthy biases in a sense. You know, because it's to encourage people, to help people grow, to. You know, but then it's the other sense, which you also kind of touched on a little bit, is that like we do live in a for-profit world. That is just the reality. Right? Is that it's business. You know, people are trying to make money, and money is power, and people like power, and you know, we have to understand as well, like not everyone always has the best intentions in mind. And again, we're not talking about literally anything specific. These are all very general.
Just to think about, isn't it? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Something we mentioned earlier was, like, again, just being stuck in this system. I think something we wanted to touch on for this podcast was, like, just our role as a Christian in this system is actually, like, the phrase "go against the norm" comes up, but, like, it's, like...
Go against the norm.
But it is, though, isn't it? It's, like, we're not called to be the same as the world, so... Like
Romans 12:2. Do not become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit in without even thinking about it.
But it's true, you know. So like, it's good to think about, like, what are my motives at the moment?
Yeah.
Why am I doing things? Yeah, where's that stemming from? And then also just like making sure you're not just like part of that, you know?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, because I think our role as Christians is to go and change that, isn't it? And,
Exactly.
And be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we were touching on that a little bit.
Yeah. And I think this is a great time to introduce the word agenda.
Yes.
Everyone has an agenda. You know, again, we are not objective people, right? Like, it's impossible to be, because we all have thoughts and feelings and opinions and wants and desires and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And so something that helps me is to think, okay, what is the agenda behind this? You know, what is the agenda behind this podcast? What is the agenda behind that, like, advert that I saw, you know, or all these different things. We were even just talking right before we started, or we hit record, you know, I kind of jokingly said, like, the agenda behind, like the advert that you saw for McDonald's was they want you to buy their food.
Yeah.
You know, I did tell him I wasn't going to talk about this because he was hungry. So
anyway, yeah. But no, you're right. You're right.
Right. And there's always just something underneath, you know, and as you're saying, like, what's our role as Christians? And I feel like sometimes we forget that we also have an agenda, you know, and I feel like agenda has such a bad connotation sometimes.
And the world is so, I feel like, aggressive. I know
that was going to be the word that I was going to say. Yeah.
Like, they're very aggressive in their approach and just very in your face. Like, I'm not saying we should be in people's faces, but like, where's like our aggression as Christians in this world? Like, I feel like it's very touchy-feely, and it's like, oh man, can I say this? He's going to think I'm really weird for asking him if I could pray for him. Something really small like that, you know? Yeah. But we really shy back because of like their thoughts and stuff. But I don't know, there's something powerful about just being aggressive and not like, I say a healthy way.
Yes, this is healthy aggression. This is not like
not hurting people, you know. I hope people can understand that. That's not what I mean. But but like, you know, that I would say like more intention is probably maybe another good word to use. But like, yeah, like we have something extremely powerful, more powerful than what they have been aggressive about. So surely what we have is gonna do better in that, and trying to change someone's life. Yeah. And
something that I'm thinking as well, like, if you have an agenda for something, you believe in that thing, you know, or you see how it could benefit, you know, whether it's you, the other person, the society, you know, like, there's a reason people have an agenda, is because they think that the agenda will accomplish something, right? Yeah. So our agenda as Christians, you know, like, should be like, we want to see people have freedom, you know, we want to see people live life to its fullest, you know, and have hope and all these things, you know. But so another question is to ask ourselves, like, do I actually like fully believe that, you know? Is that something that I see actually benefiting people? Yeah. You know, and it helps us take our focus off of ourselves as well, which is so easy. Yeah. But
something so powerful as well is like, I think in like, we're talking about being aggressive, but also like just not doing what everyone else does. You know, there's so much power in just saying no almost, and just not doing what everyone else is doing. Yeah. I don't know. People see like that. It's like, oh, hold up. Like, he's not doing these things, and like, he doesn't care almost like what the world thinks or what we think or whatever. So there's so much power in that as well. And I feel like, yeah, I don't know. That's like just another way of like being different and kind of aggressive, but just in a different format.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, as you said, aggressive is not necessarily like,
doesn't have to be like,
no, but it's almost like aggressive in your stance, you know, like a solidity. Yeah. Is that the right word? Solidity? I'm really hoping.
No, I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like no, like, this is what I believe, and I will stand for this, you know.
Yeah.
And I think when we get our agenda kind of straight, it will be a lot easier for us to identify and to maybe, quote unquote, resist other agendas, or maybe not just get swallowed up by them.
For sure, I feel like it's so important to just go back to like your relationship with God as well, like, because in those moments you feel so alone, I feel like, and if you don't have this healthy family, like a church, like, I don't know, just a group at church or whatever, like, I don't know, it's just very easy to feel alone in those moments. So just a deep relationship with God, it's like your rock almost, like, in those sort of times. I just wanted to add that in there. That is like it always goes back to just
Yeah.
intimacy with God and like
It's simple. It's
Yeah.
really simple.
Yeah.
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 Can we maybe talk a little bit, because this is something that really interests me, but like, how do we like learn to, I don't know like the best word for this, but like start questioning things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like start questioning agendas, start questioning, okay, why am I doing this, you know? Or why is everyone doing this, you know? Or why do we think like this in this culture, in this neighborhood, in this, do you know what I mean?
So how do we do that? Or
Yeah, like what are just kind of unpacking that a little bit. Because it's a nice thought to be like, okay, yeah, like
yeah.
what's your agenda? But okay, like how do we actually do that in a way that's not weird, that's not aggressive in the bad way, I guess, as well. Do you know what I mean?
Do you mean to confront it with people or like question yourself?
Both, I
Yeah.
think.
Well,
I don't know. I definitely do not have the answer, so I'm asking this to both of us.
Yeah, I mean, I'll spot there a little bit, but I think an extra pair of eyes is always good. So like, I have a discipler. It's great. Would recommend it to anyone.
Get yourself that mentor.
But yeah. But for real though, like, it's a real simple answer to start with. But like, it is true. Like, you know, seeing things in your own eyes is like, it's just one perspective, and it's your own. So it's very biased. So just someone who's actually cheering you on, like
Cheering for you.
cheering
Yeah.
for you, cheering you on. I
That's
don't know.
okay.
Just
It made sense.
someone who wants the best for you.
Yes.
And that's their interest at heart. And like, just, I guess, fresh perspective. What do they think to this? Like, going through this with them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one practical, helpful way of doing things.
Yeah.
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 Anything
That's so true.
that you think?
I think something that I'm just thinking about, obviously, during this conversation, like it's going to be so, because we love extremes so much, you know, I'm thinking about myself as well. Like I love extremes. I'll be extreme one way or extreme the other way. You know, it's very hard to find the balance, but such is humanity.
Yep.
But like still, like how do we not like lose thinking the best of people, you know, while still having that space to question? Do you know what I mean? Because I think we can become very like negative or very skeptical or cynical.
Of ourselves or
quickly.
of others?
Both.
Both.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Or, you know, because I think it's very healthy to question, okay, like why is this, you know, or I received this information, you know, it sounds good, but, you know, we should maybe double check or fact check or, you know, get other perspectives, other people who has different experiences, just to like form a whole thought, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's very easy to like think about that stuff all the time, and then I feel like it's almost like very easy to fall into that paranoia or that skepticism.
You don't make any moves forward, do you? And
you know. So I think just something that I think God's bringing to my mind right now is just like to keep on always assuming the best. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can question things, but that doesn't mean that everything is horrible or ruined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that's just maybe a danger in this topic as well.
Yeah.
You know, because we become almost like looking like over our shoulder all the time.
Yeah.
Who's trying to get me to do what, you know?
And it's almost that same thing as like I was saying, like you don't take steps forward because you're so caught up with what could go wrong almost, you know? It's that same, I feel like it's that same sort of thing. So like God can correct you as you move forward, can't he? So
exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's better to be moving forward than like not moving
Exactly.
at all,
Exactly.
Yeah. That is a good point, actually.
Yeah. So I literally just thought of now, but yeah. Do we have any like examples of like agendas in our lives, or? Because I feel like this is also very theoretical talk, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely, before I came here to London, I was personal training. I was also a PE teacher, and anyway, I was just doing lots of hours to get to this end goal of earning a certain amount of money and saving up to maybe have a house or something. But that was very much the environment that I was in. It was very much like you got to work hard. You just got to pay your bills. Like, I don't know. It was just, I was very much stuck in that system. And I think going into like my society and my social group, like I was at the gym. I was not employed by them. I was self-employed. Basically, the gig that I had was I had to do hours for them. And that's how I would pay my way of working there. So you have to pay rent normally for using the gym, their facilities, etc. Right. They actually were much better compared to other gyms, but they looked after me a little bit more. But again, like everything that they did, it was very much I was always attached to them, and it was very like them focused and them thinking
Right.
and like
Their profit.
yeah, it
What
was
benefits them.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely like that. I knew that at the time. I knew that's kind of just that was the system. That was how it worked. But yeah, when you're in that, you just like again, just in the whole working for money, working for whatever reason, just like yeah, I was definitely stuck in that. And then obviously, God really spoke to me about coming and doing a DTS and doing things like that. So yeah.
A
So,
DTS is a discipleship training
yeah.
school.
Oh yeah. For
those of you who
yeah,
don't know.
For those who don't know. Yeah.
You're so in with the lingo. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's kind of how that how I came out of that system. But I always knew that I was in the system, and
that's interesting.
yeah, I always knew, and I wanted to get out, but I just like yeah, I didn't have anyone around me who I guess like support in that respect, or not like support like I'll help you get out, but just in terms of I would say my faith. So
or like you can do something different.
Yeah, and yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so that's a really interesting point. Is like I was totally aware of it, like which is a little bit different to what we've been saying. Like, are you unaware of it? But I was definitely aware of it. Not like especially later down the road, and I tried really hard not to be in that system. But looking back now, I was 100% still in doing everything that way.
But you look at it and like that is like. We live in like a business epicenter, you know? I mean, of course you weren't in London at the time, but yeah, like that is that's just how things function, you know? And it's true, we do need businesses, like, 100%, but.
What about you?
And so, fascinating, okay.
Well, you put me on the spot. My turn, yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for me, at least recently, because this is something that I've recently actually had to relook at, you know, because I think I am more the opposite. Sometimes I think really it depends. Some things I'm very aware. Okay, we're in the system. This is this is the agenda. I'm trying a lot harder to become more aware of it.
Okay.
But I think it's very easy for me to like slip into something and be like, oh, it's fine though. Like, yeah, it's an agenda, but like whatever. Like I'm having a good time. No one's getting hurt. Like it's okay.
It doesn't have that big of an effect on me.
Exactly. Yeah. But even if it doesn't have a big effect on me, it could have a big effect on somebody else.
Yeah. And it probably has a bigger effect on you than you realize.
That is also true.
Anyway.
I mean, yes, that's very true, especially with what I'm about to say. But again, I don't know how many times I can do a shameless plug, but I have an art magazine with a team of wonderful people.
Chasm, yeah.
I don't know how many episodes we could shove that into. But the idea of that was, like, we're heavily involved in the fashion industry as well, right? And before I even moved to London, I did some internships at a different fashion magazine and modeling agency, was just very much in that kind of world and always wanted to be. That was always my goal, my destination, that industry. And I think until relatively recently, I realized that, like, I forgot to, like, ask what the agendas of that industry was. Like, we can look at an industry and be like, okay, well, there are, like, not so great things about it, you know, but I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be Jesus to the industry. I'm going to be really kind. And people are going to, like, be like, wow, she's different. You know, she's not mean. Yeah. But I think that that's just such, like, a scratching the surface of agendas and the agenda that we have the opportunity to bring, right? Because then getting more into it, realizing that I was actually falling for a lot of the materialism, the self-promotion. It's a very, like, almost like hedonistic, like, all about yourself, your expression, your pleasure kind of industry, right? And you don't even really realize that that is part of what that is. It's about people to, I don't know, just become so consumed with self, you know, that we forget to look at other people. Yeah. And I'm not saying that that is the blanket statement for the entire industry, you know, or that is what everyone thinks that, like, works there, but being in it and then being kind of, honestly, as you said, someone that I really look up to, someone that kind of looks after my life, helps me, encourages me, was like, you need to, like, open up your eyes to see how you're actually just falling into that. You might be a Christian, you might be a good person, but you have to understand that there are already currents in all these different industries, and that if you're not, like, knowing where your current's leading, then you are going to get swept up. That's how it works, you know, like, and so for me, it was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't even realize. I thought me just being a good person was enough, you know? But there are already these things and these thought patterns that are so ingrained in different industries, different neighborhoods, different environments, different cultures, different governments, different literally everything. And so for me, it was an interesting wake-up call. So you might have known it the whole time. I think I knew that there was not great things in the industry.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay, well, I won't, do that. You
Yeah,
know? But you get so swept up so easily. And how are we actually going to bring change unless we know actually what we're up against as well?
Yeah.
It's not just some self-centered people or materialism. You know what I mean?
So what are ways? Obviously, you're doing Chasm now.
Yes.
The plug. But so what are ways?
There's like a banner at the bottom
Yeah.
that tells you where to order it.
What are ways
Yeah.
you guys are trying to almost? I say break the mold. I love that phrase.
This is his new catchphrase.
It is.
So
Break the mold.
break it.
Go
Everyone
against.
just break it.
Go against the norm.
Go against the norm.
So like how?
Swim against the current.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good one actually. I quite like that.
Yeah, I fits with what we're talking about. Yeah.
No, that's good. I like that. So, but how are you guys
Yes.
doing that? And because it's good to kind of see how you can try and go against.
One of the things that we realized was that also like the fashion and art kind of industries are used a lot like for escapism. Oh wow, that was not English.
Try again. Go again.
They are used as escapism.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway. Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said it right that time. And to a certain extent, like it could take you to a different place, but a lot of times it's a coping mechanism so you don't deal with reality.
Yeah.
Something that we're trying to do is like, how do we use art and fashion in a beautiful way that helps you to be able to confront your reality?
Yeah.
And that is something that we're like, wow, okay. And like, I'm actually thinking about writing like a piece for the next issue about, is fashion escapism, is it like healthy? It's like advertised as that, but is that actually really damaging to us, Could be a future podcast topic. Escapism.
For real, yeah.
But just things like that is realizing,
Yeah.
like, okay, like that is actually just something, and what they're doing is they're helping people detach. Essentially what escaping is detaching, and so we're advertising this industry as beautiful luxury escapism.
Yeah.
But no, like God wants us to be present. God only works with us here now in the present moment,
Yeah.
So kind of breaking people back down, using the beautiful gifts and the wonderful things about the industry, because there's so many wonderful things, but
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
so
Just like, I know, getting towards the end a little bit, but something else I really do want to also mention is how important it is just to have a healthier environment. Like, or there is something you can go to that is building you up in that respect.
Yeah.
Like, that's so important. Like, otherwise you're just so much more oblivious to the things that we've talked about today, but just in general, like, you really flourish in a healthy environment that's kind of cheering you on. Like,
exactly.
That's so important. Like, it's a mentor, it's also a good church, it's also a good, even just like a friendship group that's your age from church, all those sort of things. I feel like it really does play a big role in being able to see these sort of things, so like just have a look at like what kind of support systems have you got in your life,
because it's really hard to push an agenda as a singular person, you look at the big agendas being pushed, if you will, and it's conglomerates, it is massive corporations, how many people have iPhone and how many people believe that iPhone is like amazing? Yeah, me. Yeah. Why? Because iPhone's been shoving it down our throat that is like the only way to go, for how many years now, right? It's not one guy just being like, hey, you should try this,
Yeah.
But I think we underestimate like the power of multiple people going towards the same goal, doing the same thing, and it's a beautiful thing. And when your agenda again, I don't know why I did air quotes because I definitely mean agenda. When it's something that is good and it's, for like a hope and a future and always, to bring freedom. I keep on just thinking like the freedom agenda, we fight for freedom so much, but yeah, I just think that's like, what is true freedom? I am really rabbit tailing.
No, that's fine.
Rabbit tailing, rabbit trailing.
Following the rabbit.
Yeah, we're following the rabbits.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, we can go on and on, but but what you're saying, the community, because not only will they be able to support you, but you guys can actually push together.
Yeah. And be aggressive together. Yeah.
The good aggression. We need to have good aggression, guys.
We do, yeah. We are. Yeah.
Aggressive, but like love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be aggressive in that. Yeah.
Be aggressive in your love.
Yeah.
And what is real love?
Gosh. Oh man, this is gonna be a long run. Keep going, but
so now for our second topic of the night.
Yeah. But for real, Yeah, I don't know. Just going back to what we were saying as well, just a kind of closing up a bit, like, just, yeah, man, like, we are called to be different, and like, this is something like I'm getting more passionate about, is like, yeah, just not being the same, you know, because we're not, and we need to go and change things, you know. God's calling us to do that. So like, it's almost like you just need to get rid of this filter, and you need to like forget what's going on, forget the normality of just the way society is, the way our social structure is. Like, you just need to think like, yeah, what's God saying? Like, I just need to break through, because yeah, man, there's so much power in that. I say man a lot when I get excited about it.
Yes, you do.
I say man a lot, but it's true though, you know. I don't know, I'm more passionate about that recently, but just like, just break it, you know. I feel like that's what we're called to do.
Exactly. And don't be afraid of questioning things. Like, question things in a healthy way. You know, God, like, why do I believe this? Does this actually line up with your truth? Or is this a truth that I've been told? Is this a societal truth, you know? Is this a relative truth? Like,
and it might be fine.
And that's the
like,
thing.
that's
like,
fine.
It might totally be okay.
But it's still good to question. Like, just because you're questioning things doesn't mean it's not the right, you're not doing the right things.
Exactly.
Or thinking the right things.
Exactly.
It's just a good, healthy thing to do, I think.
And if we're called to be different, we need to know what the difference is.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, yeah, like, I just really hope that, everyone that's listening to this, like, I know, are just challenged to be more aware, because I think we're both challenged about this conversation to be more aware, you know?
Yeah. And,
you know, because as we're looking at, you know, what fuels society, you know, we have to understand, or at least, you know, open up our eyes to just the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And the deeper things, bigger and deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Brilliant.
That's amazing.
Good. Good. Oh, what's the word? Chinwag. Have you ever heard that before?
Maybe, and I'm pretty sure it was from you. So
I think it means chat.
That would make sense.
A good chinwag. Yeah.
A good chinwag.
Yep.
It was a great chat, and I'm gonna be thinking about this for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Defo.
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Took some things away. Yeah. I know we did as we were talking.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for joining us.
And we'll see you real soon. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of The Anchor of the Week.
Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube so you never miss an episode.
See you next time.